So it was 1/3 of your blood in your body you lost. Is that the true figure?
Right, right. So what happened was, so they booked a match. It was supposed to be a tag match, me and Van Dam against Tommy Dreamer and Beulah. And before the match started, we're all four of us out there, and something happens where Tommy Dreamer gets hurt and Van Dam gets hurt, and they're out of the picture. And Joey Styles says, now it's me and Beulah in the ring looking at each other. And Joey Styles says, Fonzie and Beulah? Boom. And the match started, and she hits me with the tin sheet on the head, and I get a little juice over my eye. I didn't mean to get that much juice. It was an accident, but it was, if I didn't get that kind of juice, we wouldn't be talking about the match today. It would have been just another boy versus girl, two non-wrestlers. But we had a great match, almost bled to death. We did some pretty cool non-wrestling stuff. We did oddball stuff, it was more like a street fight, and the match was spectacular. So my cut on my head was so deep that they couldn't stop, and that happened at the beginning of the match. So I got busted open like 30 seconds into the match, and I wrestled for 7 minutes with Beulah. So the match is over. I put her over 1, 2, 3. Everybody's happy. I get back to the dressing room. I'm still gushing. Every time my heart would pump, blood would shoot out. So naturally, the paramedics were all over me, and they're trying to stop the blood. It wouldn't stop. So finally, they put some steel plate on my head, cold plate, and taped me up and rushed me to the hospital because head trauma. So I go to the hospital, and head trauma oversees everybody else. So they took me right into the emergency room, and I got several people working on me, and some nurse starts untaping me. I got the white tape around my head and the plate. And I said, hey, ma'am, don't take that thing off because I'm blood. She says, don't tell me what to do. I've been a nurse for 20 years. I know what I'm doing. I said, okay. So when she untapes me and takes the steel plate off, blood shot out like a foot all over her white outfit, all over her face. She was pissed, boy. So they continued. She was out of the picture. So they continued working on me, and they brought in the cables to, when you have a heart attack or something, they put those
paddles,
cables on you. They brought those in, and I'm fully conscious. And I said, hey, what are those for, Doc? He said, just in case. I said, okay. So they were working on me, and they stitched me up and in and out, stapled me up, and it looked great. And they wanted to admit me in the hospital for overnight. I had a 7:00 flight the next morning. I said, no, I'm not going to stay in the hospital. They said, well, you have to resign the release. Our recommendation is you stay in the hospital. You lost all that blood. You're weak. You're this, you're that. We want to monitor you for 24 hours before we let you loose. That's protocol. And so I said, no. So I had to resign the lease form. And so the last thing the doctor says, Fonzie, we're on a name-to-name basis. The doctor loved me for some reason. He says, Fonzie, whatever you do, I want you to go back to your hotel room with somebody to stay with you overnight. You got an early flight. I don't recommend you get on the flight. Don't drink any alcohol. Don't smoke any pot. Don't take any pills. Don't do anything. So I said, okay, I signed a waiver, and I released them from any lawsuits or anything. So they're wheeling me out in a wheelchair. They won't let me walk to outside, and there's a Sandman waiting for me. Sandman's got a 44-ounce cup from 7-Eleven full of ice, vodka, and cranberry. He's got a joint going and a fucking Percocet. So what the doctor told me not to do, I grabbed the drink, I take the Percocet, and I start smoking pot right after in the car. And, it was crazy. But I made it home, and the match was good, and we're still talking about it today because I almost bled to death.
Did you get a transfusion?
No. They just put the line in me and gave me all kind of fluid and stuff and had me rest in the hospital for 4 or 5 hours before they released me. And remember, they wanted me to stay in the hospital for 24 hours. But they stitched me up and gave me some format to follow. You know what I mean? Follow up on stuff, and I did exactly the opposite from what they said.
With the blading, I don't know if this is the first time you did it, but I've heard a number of people say the first time they've ever cut themselves, they don't realise that it takes a little bit of time for the blood to come, so they do it and then go, well, nothing's happening, and then they do it 3-4 more times. Was that your experience, or did you just go too deep the first time?
No, I just went one time deep, and a lot of guys take aspirin before the match and it thins your blood out. So I took like 10 aspirin, you know what I mean? And I told the doctor before the match, I said, hey, I took a bunch of aspirin. And he said, oh, no wonder, you know, your blood's so thin, it's flowing. You know, you shouldn't have done that. I told him I had a headache. I didn't tell him I did that so I could bleed good, you know. But no, it was just one swipe. And, you know, I had got juice several times before that. So
tell me, Paul bonused you a little bit of money for your sacrifice.
Well, no, I was just my regular pay, and he was paying me well enough that was just part of our job description.
Nope.
So, you know, he didn't pay Sabu extra to go through a table. He didn't pay Balls Mahoney to take a fucking suplex off the top rope through a table on a flaming fire. He didn't, you know, that was part of our job description. So no bonus, no nothing, a pat on the back. Well done, Fonzie.
Exactly. You've got to be rewarded either with compliments or monetarily, and you got the cheaper option, I suppose.
Right. Monetarily, I had a job.
Yeah.
You know,